So today is Sunday night, October the 7th, 2018. We have another Catholic on the Supreme Court, which has got to be great for the unborn children. And I'm not trying to fleece any widows. I'm trying to get to heaven. My baby's in heaven. 2,857 days waiting for me. And my question is, if it's eternity, is he waiting for me, or how long's it been? I'm counting temporal time. That's not like counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So these computers that drive our lives. Apparently we gotta protect ourselves. So I don't know if you're going to hear that. But what I'm doing here is I do safe cooking. Yes, you've got to protect yourself. And in my safe cooking world, make sure I have shoes on in case the water, you can burn the shit out of your legs. But let me tell you something. You burn your feet, you can't be walking. So being safe, I'm not going to tear this open. I'm going to get the scissors. Well, I thought I was. I don't know where. Oh, there's my scissors. The boys at BTT, it's not some British bank. They're talent direction. Eddie, you gotta use your right tools, man. So those guys took care of their tools, okay? And my water's boiling down here. So I tell you that is that I have the shoes on. I wouldn't touch a pot of boiling water without shoes. A little smarter dude I have on the pants, but I don't. So I'm going to be making my dinner this evening and using Latin rice. You can get this at the low-cost grocery down on Trimble. It's where your government subsidizes rice. And the thing I tell everybody about living socially secure is eat food that is subsidized by somebody. Someone's government, American, okay? Spanish government, but countries all over Europe, man, to level the playing field and to make sure that Senator Grassley, he levels the playing field. He provides subsidies to the Iowa corn farmers. Quote Eddie Malone, and heading to Monterey one day, we're driving through Iowa hour after hour because there was no interstates. You weren't going 60 miles an hour. You went to every little town in Iowa. And one day I've said to my family, corn, corn, corn. This was Iowa. That's all I see. Because as a 4-year-old, soon to be 5 years old, sitting in the back of a 59 V8 Plymouth, wide open window like the back of an RV or the front of it, all I could see was corn. So there was no more scenery. I had seen all the scenery of America at 4.5 years old. So the scenery tonight is I'm doing all I can. I'm going to eventually try to publicize these videos. I have not done one bit of publicization of these videos. Now my other YouTube channel has 22,000 views, which is like, oh, that's miserable. I don't know if you did it all organically. Organically is when you use the YouTube paragraph, okay, that you get with YouTube in order to, oh, this is burbling. Burblin's Jersey for bubbling over. I speak a lot of languages: Spanish, Jersey, Pennsylvania, Appalachian. So, that smells great. understanding YouTube like they do, by me putting that there, YouTube screenshots every single thing they pull out, okay? So I take all my ingredients, bring them up to my camera. That's part of my future marketing plan. And you know what, man? Here's from our friend Frank's. You know what that old lady says about Frank's? I'll put that stuff in everything. Being a Catholic man, I try not to curse. Try not to. So, I find soup repeats. So I don't do soups. I do make jambat. Jambat is not Jersey and Sicilian for, you know, garbage. No. Jambat is when you take a lot of good ingredients, properly cook them. So in this particular case, in 3 different batches, I put this Latin rice in. It's got black beans in it. The spices are already added. That's not going to be good enough for me because, you know, I'm obsessive and hungry. But I'm trying to make food for about 15 meals out of this. So the price of the bag of rice and the various ingredients that I've already cost factored in. Okay. Now what I learned recently is to read the ingredients. So I'm going to put it on medium. I'm going to conduct the air away. Because in my self-contained unit here, the tin cabin, my place holds heat tremendously, and there's no global warming. It's just 84 degrees on October the 7th. So I have hospitality skills as certified by Eastern Stroudsburg University, and 35 years in hotel kitchens and restaurants and country clubs. So this pasta is subsidized, okay? It was Ronzoni's. It's the Italian government and probably the United States government. Italian government processes the what's that word? Semolina, sorry. The Italian government protects through trade subsidies the semolina, the wheat. And the durum flour will be American wheat. Niacin, I believe, is I put all this in food when I was a union food producer, and I know all these videos and going, I did this, I did that. Well, I've done ferrous sulfate iron, thiamine mononitrate, which is opposed to thiamine dicalcium nitrate, riboflavin and folic acid. Contains wheat. Manufactured in a facility that uses eggs. Distributed by New World Pasta Company, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I'd like to see who they really are. They get another mission. So I'm watching myself as I cut this. I have just a couple of beers. You cannot cook over a certain level. So before I was going to consume more of my beer, I decided it's time for dinner. The background, living social secure, is using the public goods and blending them with the private goods. It's economics. And my friend Marilyn, one day, we were in college together in our 40s. And she's working so hard, and I'm in this class, and all of a sudden I hear her going, "Professor, professor!" And this sweetheart from the Bronx. She had freckles, so I know she was half Irish, half Italian. I kissed her. She goes barging up the hall with her backpack of books in her mid-40s. You know that these punk kids get in the way? And she's bellowing out, "Professor, professor!" Because she had something to say to a professor. And I respected that forever. And we're Facebook friends. I always liked her when they give her some likes every so often. She always has really good food out there. What do you want from a Paisan chick? She used to marry to a guy named Vinny from the Bronx. So, paying attention to what I'm doing, okay? I keep my hot pad handy. This Chinese oven is, remember the Chinese, they're on the right angles. Now, what's happening is the rice, and I've never been a good rice cooker. That comes from living in Jersey where you want rice, you go to Chinatown. You want pasta, cook it the rest of New Jersey. So I'm slicing up this subsidized rigatonis. And I'm going to figure out how to split this meal. Hey, come back here. Okay, so that I can get this pasta in there. I want to put in some hot sauce. You know, you need heat in life. Last week I made something like this without the rice, more pasta. On that side, the food made my glasses steam. So it's good to give yourself some heat, some agitation inside to keep all your organs working. I say organs always. That's my Alzheimer's disease, because sometimes I got Alzheimer's. Sometimes I got Alzheimer's, something like that. So, living socially secure is taking as many of the resources as you are due, not one skin tail evidence later. Okay? In this case, I'm watching what I'm doing. I'm not looking at the camera because I'm cutting with a very sharp knife. I made a couple bad cuts with this knife. Old people bleed more. And so I have to see, like, because I haven't cooked 5 pounds of rice in my life. Okay? But I am going to use, and come on, you want to do something good, put some tomatoes in. Put some vegetables. Vegetable is Essex County for vegetables. A little bit of Brussels sprouts, some carrots, some of that lettuce stuff. In the last 5 years or so of his life, my pop used to, instead of having an even cocktail, he liked some nice ice cream. And an Essex County story is, down the street from us, we'd all be hanging out in Brookdale Park, doing tubes or blowing tubes. Brookdale Park Police understood that, you know, it was a rock and roll scene in the 70s. And we'd go home, hey Dad, what you need? Eddie, will you go down to Brookdale and get me some chocolate ice cream? Because he needed sugar at that age, because he wasn't drinking. We would, of course we would. Father asked you to go to it. Well, that place that we used to go into to get this is the place where the North Jersey movie The Sopranos ends. The end of The Sopranos, if Anthony Soprano walks into Brookdale, Holstein's at the edge of the park, the corner of Broad Street and Watchung. Everybody was doing this, not just Fast Eddie Malone. You got your father the ice cream. So now, go slow. That's what my friend Susan tells me. So now what I'm going to do is I have to make some room, okay? I'm going to pour off the top of this some of this rice. And this is not going to be pretty. Life isn't pretty. Think about the opening of The Sopranos. He comes out of the Lincoln Tunnel. You know, anybody's hung out in New York knows you come out of the Lincoln Tunnel, can't be sobered up. In this case, he's probably running the book all night. But I spent too many nights in New York. We're like, oh man, I ain't going through the tunnel in this shape. Oh yeah, if you're in an indoor parking garage, put your seat back, a little water, a little juice, and a screwdriver. You wake up 7:30, 8 o'clock, you figure out, what are they doing the test? And me, I always pass the test. A couple times I got stopped at the tunnel. You been drinking? And one time I had a bunch of Thai food with me. I go, no, I'm eating Asian food. The cop looks at me, he's like, get out of here. And I did, straight through the tunnel. Get out of here. Another time, they pulled over 8 cars in a row in front of me. And I know how the tunnel works. They get a text, or they get a, yeah, there was texts back then. They get something that says 8th Street. 9, 10, 11, 12, don't get stopped. By then, out of the 8, they pulled the people who were DUI, because you gotta understand something, the city never sleeps. There's a significant number of people who are stupid enough to try to drive through the Hom Tunnel, the Lincoln Tunnel. And that tunnel is pretty narrow, very pretty with the tiles. So, the New York City police, they just want respect. You're stupid enough to try to drive through the tunnel, narrow tunnel, and you're high, you're going to jail. And I was never in the Port Authority jail, but they have one specifically there. Because the Port Authority is not the New York City police. So if you get stopped at the Lincoln Tunnel, you are not being stopped by the New York City police, you're being stopped by the Port Authority. But the way they squeeze you all down, coming off 42nd, is you go past the New York City roadblocks, and they're crunching your plate. I mean, they're looking to see wants or warrants. Then, okay, you're cool, you didn't get stopped. You think you're clean and green, you turn left at the tunnel entrance, and there's a Port Authority, boys and girls. Usually the boys. And these cops are carrying frickin' Uzis, okay? Because they're gonna make sure they're not having people from somewhere else mess with the New York City economy. Like I said, when you're done the night in New York, you shouldn't be driving. You're too tired. You went there because it's a city that doesn't sleep. 4:30 in the morning, you're in Westway, which is the cop diner. Okay? If you ain't scared shitless of those cops, you're an idiot. And one thing that New York City police do not respect is idiots. You got a word for that. He's a mutt. Well, mutt is not racial. A mutt means you got no brain. So one time I'm going out of the tunnel, and I had this windbreaker hanging in the back, and it looks like a plainclothes cop's windbreaker. And I rolled up, and I started putting my window down. He looks at the windbreaker and just waves me through. That's my courtesy. I'm Irish looking. People think it's bullshit. Yeah, well, anybody ever hung out with me in New York knows it's not bullshit. And Wall of Maddie and Ella's best places and worst places. They used to have these brothels, pop-up brothels, flash mob brothels, okay? In which they would rent for like 3 months a place around 44th Street between 8th and 9th or 9th and 10th. And if you knew how to get up there, they you go up there and meet your girlfriend Sally in the alley. And when Sally ain't in the alley, she's in a plywood cubicle. And one night, Sally and I are discussing stock prices. Chuckle, chuckle. And just before we agree on this price of the stock, I see this hand come out of the wall and go for my wallet and go, hey, what the fuck you doing? When they built these places, Maddie and Ella's boys and girls, boys, okay, and some of them were girls, they couldn't help. They built it so that the pickpockets could move from booth to booth. So you're having a good time with Sally in the alley, and not only you're not in the alley, somebody's picking your pocket. and smart people from New York do not go to the police when they get their pocket picked in Times Square, okay? Because the ossifier wants to know, oh, what are you doing here? You know, so you was talking to Sally in the alley and some guy hit you over the head with a blackjack and now you got no wallet. Yeah, welcome to New York, move along, so nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. And then if you're like me, and you survive, you get a 30-year pin, which says, I'm a friend of Matty and Ellis. Matty the horse was a dude who had the franchise in Times Square. And DJT used to hang out there. He was appraising the real estate. But DJT would not take on Matty the horse. You wait till Matty died. You wait till Paulie died. December 16th, 1985. I'm living on the mountains of Pennsylvania. I escaped that life. Got a phone call from my mother. Eddie! They shot Big Paulie! Well, I'm 30 years old, and I knew who Big Paulie was. Big Paulie was from the island. That's my mother's soul, God bless her. See, everybody knew who Big Paulie was. He lived up on Toad Hill. And Big Paulie's the guy who gave Matty and Ella the horse, the franchise to run Times Square. In the mix, who ran all these bars with the watered down whiskey, they used to say to you, you staying? What that meant is about 10 minutes of 4. You'd say, yeah. And there wasn't any food. He kept the steam tables going. What's the guy's name? Swabby. He was like a drunk sailor. He'd be cooking the bratwurst and sauerkraut and some bread. And they gave it away free after like 3:45. So, then you be on 8th Avenue between 42nd and 43rd, 4:15 in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. You're thinking, how am I going to get out of here? You're not. They're not opening the door till 8:20. And the feeling of uptown guys start pulling on the door because they look in the bar and they see 3/4 of the stools are full. A bartender from County Court would vault over the bar with a shillelagh like in the movies. No needles, no nails, I mean. And he'd run to the door. And the uptown guys would look at that and they'd run away. Because in the 70s, the uptown guys were all over the streets. One time, somebody asked me for some money, and like a fool, I was drinking. I gave him some money. About a block later, corner 8th and 41st, which is outside the Puerto Authority. This guy comes in, hey, can I get some money? I look at him and go, hey, I just gave you money. He grabs me with one hand, and his compadre grabs me as my wallet. So the first guy's holding me, the second guy's running. And then as they run in the same way, they do the distraction, which is this. They go to school first. They pull the money out of the wallet. Your wallet should always be in your front pocket. At that time, mine was in my back pocket. So they were looking for people with back pocket bulges. They pull $300, $500, $600 cash, because you go to New York, you got to go right. You throw my wallet over that way, and what do? You go for your wallet. Boom, they're gone into the crowd, into the mutts crowd. Well, mutts. Let's move to that. Mutts means something else. Anybody from New York can tell you. So, now I go to New York once or twice a year. I use discretion. That is part of valor, right? And what I noticed is at this age, all the food is freaking orange. And I ain't like East Orange. But I like to sweat when I eat my food. So we'll put that Frank's in there. And the blending this is this. Running this. I'm not stirring it in. I want the heat to release the turmeric and paprika. If you stir it in, you dilute it. But right now, it's happening, and I'm going to take a chance with the camera because I'm about out of time on this video. Okay. I mean, you can see it burbling. See where the Frank's stuff is? See, those are olives, black beans, subsidized pasta, Latin rice, whole chunk tomatoes, and that's Cumberland Valley tomatoes. We call that locavore, right? I'm eating the local food as much as I can. Less people in the food chain, fresher food. Let's see if it's still going. Still going. And you know, when you work in the kitchen, they keep the music on so that you get into the ethereal state of, all right, I'm doing some kind of art. Now, I can smell that the Frank's, and I have the stove on, that the Frank's hot sauce has decomposed, okay? Now, I'm going to stir this up. Doesn't matter if you stir it up. Okay. And this is 12 to 15 meals. Tonight's meal, this will get placed on some kind of bread product on a plate. Fortunately, there's too many mosquitoes out tonight. I can't sit on the terrace. Throughout that, other than that little snag of an olive, I do not touch my mouth. Because as a hospitality professional, with a degree from Pennsylvania State University, so come out, I'm very concerned about germs. As a person who's a union worker in a factory, who's kosher food, I'm concerned about the steps of production, that they're as spotless as humanly can be, and they're blessed. So the blessing has been this wonderful choir music. He's a choir boy, as you're afraid. It don't mean he's anything but he knows how to sing with the band. Thank you, Jesus, for another day. Any luck, I'll wake up tomorrow. I'm hungry. It's 10 o'clock. I'll eat this at about 11. That's a 4-4 count.